Good morning and welcome to On the Beat. My name is Kim Masterfino, and with me today is the Beat team, Martin Chan and Joe Hildreth. We're going to check in with the Beat team as we usually do because I know that they have some weather updates in addition, they have community updates. So we're looking forward to hearing all about all of those. So anyway, Martin, let's check in with you first. How are you today?
Hey, doing wonderful. It's Tuesday, June 8th. It's Tuesday morning. Today's pretty much sunny and
Yes,
the temperature is pretty good, around 60. It's comfortable,
good, good. Well,
not too
thank you for
hot.
not too hot. But that's good. Yeah, it looks like it's sunnier than I thought. I didn't think it
Yeah.
was going to be this sunny, but good on that. So just wanted to check in. How's John Oliver the turtle?
Yeah. He's all right. He's just chilling as every morning.
Good, just chilling out. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's all the turtle does.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you for those updates, and
Hmm.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Uh, let's check in with Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing good and great to be here.
Oh, I can't hear Joe.
What was that, Martin?
I can't hear Joe.
Can't hear Joe.
No,
Um, can you talk a little louder, Joe?
I'm doing good and great to be here.
Can you
no,
hear him now?
no. Couldn't hear Joe.
Okay. We got okay. So let's see if we can fix that. Okay. Now you're muted. Okay. Now try it.
Hello.
All right.
Hey,
All right.
Joe.
So
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
okay.
Martin,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, uh, do the thing. You got like a phone call or something because you're on your phone, just like we used to. Just go out and come back in. Clear your browser and come back in.
My browser?
Yeah,
Yep. Just like
It's not me. It's kind of Joe. I couldn't hear
no,
Joe.
yeah, no, it's on your end though.
Oh, it is.
yeah.
Yep,
How do I
Just
do that?
you just clear. You just go out of the browser and come back in.
Oh, like last time?
yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like
Oh,
when you entered in, just go out and then hit the link again and clear your bars. Hit the link and come back in.
okay. So I hit the red button.
no, just double click and get out of Chrome or Safari or whatever you're in altogether.
Double click. Uh, no.
So okay, yep, just get out of your web browser and come back in.
All right. I'll just go click.
All
There
right.
we go.
Good. Good. Um, so we had a little bit of technical difficulty. So we are actually, while we're waiting for Martin to come back in, Joe, why don't you do your updates for us? And
Okay.
just I failed to ask how you are today.
I'm doing good and great to be here.
All right, it's good to have you. So while we're waiting for Martin to come back in, you can do the community updates. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
The Beat Team is a program of the Frank Olin Center, a non-profit organization located on Airport Road in Westerly. This
Um,
organization
I'm
provides
back. Hi.
services to children and adults with disabilities. For more information, please check out our website and our social media pages. The Westerly Education Center will be hosting a job fair on Thursday, June 10th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Dozens of employees from Rhode Island and Connecticut will be there. A spring yard sale to benefit the Sunshine Kids will be on Saturday, June 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 224 Post Road in Westerly. Rain date will be on Sunday, June 13th.
Ah, thank you for those updates. Lots going on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just want to remind everyone, yes, now that things are opening up, please check out the our Facebook pages, like for the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Misquamicut Beach page and others as well to find out more about schedules and happenings in the area. please remember to support your local community by shopping and dining locally. So thank you for those updates. We do appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to all of those. So now, just wanted to say, Martin, you all set with everything?
Oh yes, I'm
Good.
good.
Yes, sometimes on live broadcast things happen, and it's just what it is. And so you did really good, and I'm glad to have you back on board, and that you're able to hear everybody. So
Yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of forgot to turn off the other apps.
okay, well now you know, and so you're back on, and it's all good.
Yeah. Good.
All right, sounds good. So now we're going to introduce our very special guest. Her name is Jocelyn Lahey, and she is the Executive Director for the Watch Hill Conservancy. So please welcome Jocelyn.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Jocelyn.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you on. We're so looking forward to hearing all about the Watch Hill Conservancy and everything that you're doing. And I've never met you before, and I don't think Martin and Joe have met you either. So this is our first time chatting with you. So happy to have you on and to get to know you. So thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for the invitation.
And anytime. So as you know, Martin and Joe are going to be conducting the interview questions. And so, and it's pretty straightforward. And if you have any questions on the questions, whatever, then feel free. So Joe, first one, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Jocelyn, for those new to the broadcast, can you tell us about yourself and how you became the Executive Director for the Watch Hill Conservancy?
Sure. Good question, Joe. So I actually grew up in Auburn, Maine. I'm not from Rhode Island. And I always had a love for the outdoors. I was very fortunate in that my parents were supportive of my curiosities, even when that meant I was bringing bugs into the house, and they'd find worms in my pockets and they had to do laundry. They were really supportive of helping me discover nature. And so after I was a child and went through the normal schooling system, I ended up going to the University of Southern Maine, and I got a degree in environmental science. I knew that I wanted to continue to pursue that interest of mine. And there I really learned that there's a lot more to the outdoors and nature and our environment than just the excitement of exploration. And there's a lot of human aspects that are involved in that. And so I kind of took that with me after school. For a while, when I was in my early 20s, I worked in some really science-intensive jobs. So I actually worked for the Portland Water District in their laboratories, doing some water quality testing and helping them with their wastewater treatment facility by working in their laboratory. And then after that, I sort of followed my interest of bugs to the Maine Forest Service, where I worked in their insect and disease laboratory. So that laboratory looked at some invasive pests that can damage Maine's trees, as well as forest diseases. So not like diseases we get, but instead they might, ruin the leaves or the bark of the trees and make them not produce as well. From there, I actually worked on NOAA fishing vessels, or I shouldn't say NOAA fishing vessels. I was a NOAA affiliate working on fishing vessels all over New England. So I drove up and down the coast and did collection of data on the fish that were caught, and that helps them understand the size of the fish, the age of the fish, and what the populations of those look like out there. After that, I worked as the district manager for a soil and water conservation district. We actually have these in Rhode Island too. They're all over the country. And this is sort of where I took all of that field science that I did and blended it with that more human aspect I was talking about. So there I helped farmers implement conservation practices, or property owners along the lake eliminate erosion problems, sand and sediment and stones getting into the water and affecting the water quality. So I was at that job for about 3 years. And basically what happened was that I was determined to pursue my career outside of Maine. I had grown up there, went to school there, worked there, and now I wanted to explore a little bit. but I also wanted to stay close enough to home that I could get back to my family if necessary. So Rhode Island really became the spot where I started my search. And that's where I found the Watch Hill Conservancy Executive Director position. And I learned a bit about the Conservancy and our mission. And I saw that it really blended those two aspects of the path I had taken at that point, which was the science and the natural preservation of our environment and that human aspect. So now I've been here for about 2.5 years already. Time flies. It feels like a second ago I moved, and I'm happy to be here in our small town of Westerly.
Wow, that's great to know that you do a lot of stuff.
Thanks, Joe. It was fun along the way.
Jocelyn, I have to say I can relate to your parents with the, the aspect of the bugs and creatures, because my son was all that and then some.
Yeah. So you found surprises as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, snakes and bugs, and he was always collecting something, rescuing things, and yeah, it was quite an adventure. I always remember that day when I had a monitor lizard in my back seat, bringing it to the reptile resource place. I think it was in Providence at the time, the highway, and this tongue kept coming out of the back here. I was just like, yeah, okay, this is good. So I can well relate to that. So I'm glad that you found your niche and that you're where you are, because it sounds like, your background is fitting for what you do. So
thank you. I felt the same way. And it's been challenging and exciting 2.5 years being away from home, new position, of course. And but it's been exciting, and I feel like we've gotten a lot done as well.
Well, plus you have the commonality of the seafaring towns aspect, because you grew up in Maine, and we're also on the coast as well. So
absolutely,
yeah. So thank you for sharing that. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
So Martin, I think you have the next question.
Yes. Can you tell us about Watch Hill Conservancy, the history and the mission?
Absolutely, Martin. The Conservancy has quite an interesting history, I think. So it was actually founded in 1999. So 2 years ago, we celebrated our 20th anniversary in 2019. We had a nice celebration out on the village green down here in the Watch Hill Village, and we're able to share some successes with our members. The Conservancy, as you may know, is a nonprofit organization. So we're a 501c3, and we're specifically designated as a membership organization with the state. So that means that, folks make donations to the Conservancy, and in return, they are kept aware of our programs, invited to those, and we share our successes with them. And they can really take ownership in the work that we do as members. So the Conservancy's mission is focused on 2 areas. One is the conservation of our community, and the other is the preservation of our community. And I thought it might be helpful to explain those, because those 2 things get confusing. They sound the same, and a lot of folks don't know the difference between them. So conservation is to protect our natural environment. So we work on Napatry, and we take care of that beach area and the pristine ecosystem that's out there. And so that's the conservation aspect of our mission. Preservation is really more the human and historical and cultural environment. So Watch Hill Fire District is a nationally registered historic place. And so part of our mission is to make sure that we are considering the historic nature of that district when we're doing our work and holding our programs. So the Conservancy over the last 20 or so years now has grown from really a relatively unknown land trust. It started quite small with just a few local folks in the community. It was starting the organization and gathering people who were passionate about that mission. And now we've grown to actually having 2 full-time staff, a part-time staff, and we also have about 10 to 12 seasonal staff that work out on Napatry and help us with the programs out there. So in those years that have passed, we've we have collaborated with many organizations and really grown our partnerships and relationships to where we're actually a well-respected and recognized land trust for our Napa tree activities and our preservation work in town here. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've done that folks may not know about the Conservancy. So again, Napa Tree might be the most visible part of our mission, where we have a lot of staff out there and you see them with their shirts on, and we have our children's program and our nature walks and things like that. But we also were involved with a 10-year project on Bay Street. So the next time, if you come down Bay Street towards St. Clair's Ice Cream or any of the nice shops down here, you'll see that the overhead lines where you normally receive your utilities and power are actually not there anymore. And so we worked with the town to put those all underground. And what that did was made them more resilient because they are not exposed to weather conditions out here. But it also really allowed us to put up this contextual lighting that is historic looking light posts, and we reworked the road and the sidewalks. And this was all in partnership with the town of Westerly and also some federal funding. And it really resulted in a beautiful environment that you can walk down as a pedestrian and enjoy, especially at nighttime. I think that the lighting along the grass close to the bay is absolutely gorgeous. And so I wanted to share that because I'm not sure how many folks know that the Conservancy was involved in that. And that was a good deal of donor funding in addition to the town of Westerly and federal funding that helped that project. And it took us nearly 10 years. So I would consider that really one of our most major success stories. The other thing that I wanted to share with you that we've been working on, sort of talking about both conservation and preservation, the natural and historic environments, is our work to help prevent the effects from sea level rise. So for about 3 years now, we have gathered some other local nonprofits and businesses, and we've had discussions and meetings with them to talk about how we can eliminate the potential damage caused by flooding. And so we've noticed over the last number of years that flooding is coming farther and farther up and over a low part of the seawall down here, and it actually in the future could become a real nuisance. So we've been doing that work, as I mentioned, with a group of local representatives from nonprofits and businesses. So that's sort of the highlights of our mission area. We have some other programmings that I'll love to share with you later, but that's really the summary of it.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. All the preserving the history of Watch Hill.
Yeah, absolutely, it is really interesting. Excuse me. When I moved down, I didn't know anything about the area, and so it's been fun to learn about all of the different periods of time that Westerly and Watch Hill has seen, and different activities that were going on during those times. And you can see remnants of those in the architecture and the buildings that exist. And it's a fascinating history, like you said, Martin.
It is, very so.
That's awesome. Awesome. Joe, would you like to take the next question?
Yes. Can you tell us more about Napa Tree and its history?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked. Napa Tree, just like Watch Hill, has a really interesting history. So all the way back in the 1600s, there was a man named Adrian Block. He was a Dutch trader. And have you gentlemen heard of Block Island?
Yes.
You have? Okay, so that is, he named Block Island after himself. So the same person discovered Napa Tree. And at that time, Napa Tree was actually densely forested. It wasn't the beach and sand dune that we know now. And so that's why he named it the Nap of Trees. So it's kind of hard to imagine that, but that's what it existed in the 1600s. Now, that forest that Mr. Adrian Block saw was actually completely blown away in the gale of 1815. And so we like to tell people that Napatri is really a storm-driven system. And so what that means is that, big events like hurricanes and strong weather events and winter storms, it can significantly change what we see on Napatri. And so that's one of the first examples, is that storm completely wiping out the forested area. After those trees had been wiped out, what happened was the United States government purchased the very end of Napatri, about 60 acres of it, and they put in Fort Mansfield. Fort Mansfield is still out there. It is not in great condition. It is not used anymore, and it is fenced off for the public safety. But you can walk up to the edge of it and take a look, though there is quite a bit of poison ivy around there, I will say. So at its prime, Fort Mansfield, when it was active as a U.S. government military fort, there is up to 100 soldiers that actually worked out there and would come and go and use the facilities. So that was about the 1800s. It was not even 10 years later, they discovered that there was actually a terrible flaw in the design. So Fort Mansfield was supposed to protect Little Narragansett Bay from Watch Hill Point over to Fisher's Island. And what happened was that they realized that the enemy ships could actually pass underneath the trajectory of those cannon rounds that would be fired. And so basically the ships wouldn't be hit with the cannon bullets, if you want to call them that, and instead they could pass right underneath it. And so the government actually decommissioned that fort after determining that it was not an effective place to protect Watch Hill and Little Narragansett Bay and Fisher's Island. So the fort remains out there, like I said, but in the 20s and 30s, what happened, the height of the golden era and the cottage era down here, and there was a lot of active hotels and things like that. There was actually 39 homes that were built on Napatri. And it's a terribly tragic story, but in the 1938 hurricane, all of those homes were blown away into the ocean. And so it is another example of Napatri being, like I said, that storm-driven system. So another hurricane came and then destroyed the homes and left Napatri as we know it today, which is with no structures on it, and now it's a sand dune. So those weather events can really change the geology quite dramatically. So to bring you to a more modern history of Napatri, in about 1945, after the 38 hurricane, the Watch Hill Fire District purchased a bunch of land out on Napatri. They have a little more than 80 acres, and they purchased that for public enjoyment and for conservation reasons, to protect the ecosystems that exist out there. And from 1945 to 2014, the Watch Hill Fire District was the caretaker of Napatri, and they were responsible for all of those activities. So the Conservancy, to bring it full circle as to why we're involved, in 2014, the Watch Hill Fire District granted us a conservation easement over their land on Napatri. So a conservation easement is an agreement between the Watch Hill Conservancy and the landowner, who is the Watch Hill Fire District, to hand over the responsibility of taking care of that land. And so we continue to steward Napatri through our monitoring programs and our scientific programs, and through our staffing out there, to make sure that we are still following the initial intent of the Watch Hill Fire District, to make sure that this is a place for public enjoyment and also a place where we can protect our ecosystems. So we've been responsible for that since 2014. We see thousands and thousands of visitors on Napatri every year. It is loved by people locally. It is loved from people all over the world. They travel here. We had a really interesting bird that came last year, and it was, I want to say, maybe the third time. Don't write that in stone, but it was a very rare sighting on Napatri that this bird came. And we had people driving overnight to see this bird because it was on their life list, on their bucket list of birds that they wanted to see. And so that attention comes from folks all over the place. So the Conservancy now is, like I said, responsible for monitoring and stewardship of Napatri. What that really means is that we take care of the paths that allow visitors to go from the bay side to the beach side. We work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and they put up fencing or roping, I should say, that helps protect the endangered species that are out there, the shorebirds that visit. We have piping plovers, we have oyster catchers, we have sandpipers, and all sorts of really cool, interesting birds that are out there. We have a team of science advisors that we are so fortunate to have that work alongside our board of directors, and they volunteer their time to do all sorts of research out there. And they also help us with understanding the geology of Napatri. So as I said, it is a storm-driven system, but this could be even just regular wind and waves as well. So it actually, if you can believe it, Napatri has moved north since its first being found by Adrian Block, almost the entire width of itself. So one whole width towards Stonington. Excuse me, not towards Stonington, the other direction. So we do a lot of great things out there, and it really is, like I mentioned, the most visible part of our work, but and we're proud of the team that helps us, especially, like I mentioned, the science advisors who donate their time to the Conservancy to further our research and studies, which results in the State of Napatri report. And it's a great annual publication we put out. So if you have a chance to check it out, you can. It's on our website.
Wow, it's very good to know about the history of Napatri.
Thanks, Joe. I think so. I think so too. And it, like I said, there's a lot that's been going on out there.
Well, thank you for that.
Wow.
That's good. Martin, would you like to take the next question?
Yes. Can you tell us about the events that you have scheduled for 2021?
Absolutely. We are super excited. We have a speaking series called Landfear Live, and we invite really interesting presenters to come. They're super engaging. This is free and open to the public. And I want to be cognizant of time here, so I would recommend that everyone check out our website. We have this season's lineup posted, and we will be doing this in person. Though if you are unable or uncomfortable to attend in person, these will all be available on our YouTube page after the fact. So nobody will miss out. That's our big announcement, I should say. Awesome. Yes, thank you. So you can find that calendar under Landfear Live, and there's wonderful bios for each of the presenters and the topics that they'll be covering. We've got the State Crime Lab. We have shark researchers, Ida Lewis, who was a lighthouse keeper. This is an information influence campaigns from Cold War to COVID-19. Oh, here's our shark researcher that's tracking the apex predators along the Rhode Island shore. I think that one will be really neat. And in August, actually, if you're interested about these hurricanes and storms that have changed our coastal shorelines, we have a presentation by David Valley, who will be talking about Southeast New England hurricanes. So that's going to be a really fun one. Thanks for sharing that.
Amazing lineup of entertainment and what you're offering in your series. Very interesting subjects.
Yeah, I think so too. And I do want to reiterate they are free and open to the public. There's no registration required. Just come on down to the Lanphier Livery at 1 Bay Street. That's where we're located, and that's where we hold our presentations as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
We're very excited.
That's fantastic. We are at the mark, but let's see if we can squeeze in the last two questions quickly.
Great.
Joe, I think you got the next one.
What are your goals for the future?
Oh, thanks, Joe. That's a good question. In a difficult one, I think. One of my personal goals I wanted to share, because I achieved it recently, was I finally have a little bit of space to plant a vegetable garden. And I've gotten those plants in, and I'm enjoying watching them grow. And I was so excited. My landlord shared one of his mother's heirloom tomato plants that she had seed saved from when she moved over here. And it really just touched me. And that's a really exciting personal achievement that was accomplished this spring. For the Conservancy, I think our biggest goal is to be able to share our programs and resources and information with the community. And, admittedly, we are still learning how to best reach a broader audience, but I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and be able to talk with you all, because this is a perfect example of taking a step forward in that direction, to be able to let you all know that we have these exciting things going on, and that, you can come participate in them, or come down to Napatree and take a walk with our naturalists on Saturday mornings and learn about Napatree yourselves, and that these things are available to everyone in our community. And so I'm excited to be here and share that message and share that goal with you.
Wow, that's great to know.
I hope you come down if you're able to. That we do have Saturday walks that our naturalists put on. That's our staff that work out there. And depending on your interest, they will actually guide you along Napatree and teach you about the different things, whether it's horseshoe crabs or birds or plants, whatever it might be. So if you are able and to come down, we'd love to have you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Martin, would you like to quickly take the last one?
Yes. What else would you like others to know?
Thanks, Martin, for asking that. I think what the really important thing to know is that we're the Conservancy, myself and our team, we're always on the other end of the line. So if that's by email or if that's by phone, we would love to share with you any of the information that we have, any of the programs that we're working on, and to help answer your questions. So don't ever hesitate to reach out and just give us a call or an email, and we'll be here to help you learn about our natural environment and our historic environment here in Westerly.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Well, that does conclude our broadcast. Jocelyn, it's been a pleasure to meet you, and we wish you well now and in the coming months. So much information that I didn't know about, and great broadcast, great information. And yes, I will be taking advantage more of that area. So thanks for opening our eyes on everything that you do. You do amazing work, so we do appreciate that. So also wanted to thank Joe and Martin for being great hosts, and to our producer, Ben, thank you so much. You're always right on things, and he does amazing work. So anyway, we'd also like to thank all who joined in this morning. If you happen to have missed it, don't worry. You can visit it and access it on our social media pages later on. So please keep an eye on Facebook for the next broadcast. Our guest next week is Caswell Cook. We're looking forward to seeing him again and hearing all about his updates. And so in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week and stay safe and healthy.
Well, that's it for now. We'll see you next time on The Beat.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.